caller, let me just interrupt you, huh? There's a fiscal incentive program where if you are investing a certain amount of monies, that you do get fiscal incentives, and bigger bigs would have qualified for that. Even now under this ULP administration, we have that program where if you are making an investment of a certain amount, we do give you certain fiscal incentives, which would include duty-free concessions on your machinery and so on that you're bringing in. So there was absolutely nothing wrong with that. You see? Wait, no. Well, I'm just telling you now, because you seem to be saying that there was something wrong with that, and I'm telling you that is the difference between this program and New Times program. We ain't going to let you go down a line because it seems to be in favor of us if we know it is wrong or not true. There is a fiscal incentive program that this government has too, that we have improved. As a matter of fact, as the Prime Minister would have announced in the budget a couple of years ago, almost all raw material, whether or not it's from here or from outside, for manufacturing, we give duty-free concession on them. So let's not make it sound like there was anything wrong with bigger bigs getting duty-free concession or fiscal incentives.
You haven't heard me, right?
Well, apparently I didn't understand you, so maybe you need to explain yourself again.
I understand you give 100% duty-free and machinery and tax concession.
Yes.
If you have in a country with a number of industries doing the same thing, to give duty-free concession material, the material I'm talking about, okay?
Yes.
Because I see the NDP going out of officers created more problem than the thing. In the block making it in particular, you must have what...
Well, again, let me interject. From my own knowledge, and I was asking Nelson, we need to gather the facts. From my own knowledge, at the time when Bigger was given this duty-free concession on the cement, there was, and I believe this, I could remember even when I was at KV, I remember this problem. I believe that there was a cement problem regionally, and he may have had to import it from other sources, and so that is part of why he would have been given the concession on the cement. So again, as I say, I speak to truth. I really don't want to get involved in,
I'm not taking you on that road. What I'm saying to you, right? The investment of all the black people making black in this country from since I was a boy. I have no problem giving you tax write-off for 10 years and duty-free concession all the machinery and everything. But to give raw material when you have competitors, Cat and Cropper and they was the best back at one time. They had it at Brighton, Bullock. I have no problem giving the person concession, but I think to give concession where they...
To one person, you're saying? You shouldn't give it to one person. If it's concession, it should be across the board.
Yes, I don't have no problem to give 100%. I will give a tax write-off for 10 years.
Yes.
But not on the material, because you actually... diminishing those industries you have. Cat and Cropper and Annisville was one of the best black makers in the country you had. And all over the country you all have beautiful black makers, but to the raw material which is actually cement. I'm not criticizing a gentleman. I think the NDP, and at the time they were coming to the end of the term of F97, because most in 98, the NDP were almost expired. And to do that would create probably when they're out of office, and this is what happened right now, because I don't understand. I'm serious about that. Give the man all what he wants for the machinery, and give him duty-free, tax-free, X amount of years.
Yes.
But let you have equality with the price.
Yes,
so
yes.
To give me duty-free material, I can put it out of the business if I want.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the intention of God forbid. I don't think so.
All right, my brother.
And at the level of government, they made a cardinal mistake. So that's 14 years. It is 14 years later.
All right.
It's 14 years, 97 to 2000 and what? It's 14 years.
All right. I get you. Thanks. Yeah, but, again, I go back to one of the things. Since the caller brought up Bigger Bigs again, I was going to leave Bigger alone, because I sure right now he ain't feeling good after the conversation that me and he had. I know he ain't feeling good. And I mean, Bigger, I didn't mean to be so hard on you, but I just had to be honest with you, you hear? I didn't mean to be so hard with you, but I just had to be honest with you. That when I open the newspaper and I see all them chuck there and so on and them tractor, and when I see it on TV, I thought to myself, you're a wicked man to leave all your stuff to just rotten down so. But as I said, the fiscal incentives, there's nothing wrong with that. This government gives fiscal incentives, and we have now given incentives on raw materials and so on. But I'll come back to the other issue I want to talk about in relation to Bigger, which I raised with him before. Good afternoon, you shake up.
Yeah, Hans.
Yes.
I heard you ask Bigger if he used to sell cement, and he said to you no.
He said what?
He said to you no, he never sells.
Yes, that's what he told me. He said he never sells cement, the cement that he was getting duty-free concession on.
I could stand up in front of that man and tell him, yes, he sold me cement.
He sold you cement. All right. You're willing to give your name?
I will go and look at the show. I have my bill them, and I will bring them by.
I was asking if you're willing to give your name.
Trust me, I will do it.
You answer me yet to that. Say if you're willing to give your name.
If I'm willing to give my name?
Yes.
I contractor Sinclair Decent.
Contractor Sinclair Decent, and you're saying that you would have bought cement from him. All right. Well, I hope Bigger could call and retract that and say that ain't true. All right. So, Bigger, you hear that? Here's a man saying that he, in fact, bought cement from you. All right. So, I know. Yeah, you can call and retract that. Sinclair Decent, he said his name is? Yes. And he said he can look and see he should still have bills. Good afternoon, in Shake Up.
Hans,
Yes.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I bought cement from Bigger already too.
Yes. And you're willing to give your name?
My name is Evelyn Jardine from Mesco.
Evelyn Jardine, and you're saying you bought cement from Bigger Bigs. All right.
Yes, I bought from him already.
All right. Thank you, Miss Jardine.
Okay.
All right. Bigger boy. As I say, I don't know. But these people are calling and saying they bought cement from you. Perhaps you can call and you got the name, Miss Jardine there and Mr. Decent. They say they bought cement from you. All right. So I don't know if you could call us and rectify that. Let us know that you in fact never sold cement to those individuals that are saying that they bought cement from you. But the point I want to make is this, and I said this to Bigger before. I'm not buying the argument that because you couldn't mine at Rabaka anymore, you couldn't produce blocks anymore. And Mr. Kwame made the point in his call. The other blocks makers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines buy their aggregate, their Rabaka stuff and everything else to make their cement. They're still in business today. So if your mining operation was stopped because you were in fact affecting the environment, and I was just reading a story here in the Vincentian newspaper where Samuel admits he failed to heed advice. That's the headline on page 3. I don't know if Lou had seen that one. Samuel admits he failed to heed advice. Leon Biggerbeg Samuel failed to keep proper records, which resulted in him being accused of environmental degradation. Dr. Renald Murray, the man hired by Samuel to conduct an environmental impact assessment back in 2007, made the disclosure last Saturday during a media tour of the property at Rabaka, on which the mining operations were once conducted. Samuel's license to mine at Rabaka was revoked and his business shut down in 2011 by the Physical Planning and Development Board. The board cited a number of violations, including poor practices in the use and disposal of petrochemical compounds, pounding, and there was extensive corrosion taking place along particular sections of the property. In preparing the assessment, I looked at the potential challenges, including access, safety, use of materials, and in the impact assessment, there was a number of guidelines provided for it, Dr. Murray said, and I could go on. But Big, I want you to call me and tell me those two individuals who have called and said they bought cement from you, call and tell me they lie. I want to give you an opportunity to say that those persons are fibbing, to use the proper word that my grandmother would say. So Dr. Lewis, let me teach Dr. Lewis a word. So Dr. Lewis, next time you want to say somebody is lying in Parliament, they say lying is unparliamentary. You could say that they're fibbing. I mean, I'm sure you have an extensive vocabulary. So, I mean, I think fibbing would be parliamentary. You know, they're telling an untruth or they're fibbing. Yes. But I, of course, ain't going to use that on radio when I talk about, they're lying. Downright, dirty, lying. Conscientious stupidity, lying. You know, that's what I'm going to use. But, yes, All the other block makers in this country don't have a mining operation. They buy the Arabica stuff from Braxa before it was Jesco. How are they able to operate? Your site at Yambu, you didn't, again, correct me, bigger, call me back, please. Did you make your blocks out at Arabica? I don't know. I know you had an operation at Yambu. So, are you saying to me that if you had to buy aggregate, you could not produce blocks like the other block makers were doing to sell and make a profit? I really want to know. I have a genuine interest in seeing you succeed and get your business running. As I say, I was one of those who weren't happy when your business, when 60 people went on the bread line. I want to see people working. But you need to answer some of these questions. Good afternoon, in Shake-up.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my brother.
No, I am telling you this. You mightn't like it. Mr. Samuel gave him the name Bigger Big because he said he can do as he like, and that is what he was doing. And lying because the people could testify they buy from him, and he don't want to. Have a good day.
All right, thank you. Well, I'm still hoping Bigger will call in and tell me those people didn't buy. Good afternoon, you're in Shake-up.
Yeah, good afternoon, Hans. I wish this man would go away, just concentrate on his business.
That has been my, Kadi, that has been my advice to Bigger Bigs from day one. From day one, I have said to Bigger Bigs, guy, do what you have to do. Take the Prime Minister's suggestion and do what you have to do. Instead of being involved in all this stupidness and protesting and all this politics, do what you are required to do to get your business back up and running.
Well,
but he was never interested in that.
Because I don't know. Did he still have the license to bring in the concession for the importing cement?
I don't know. I really don't know on that one, and I have to get all the facts together for that.
They can't take. They couldn't take that away from him. All they do was his mining.
Nobody ever stopped Bigger Bigs from making a single blocks. Not a soul. Never stop him from making a blocks. You know what Bigger Bigs told me? Because he called in. This is not the first time. Today is not the first time. Bigger and I have had several conversations, and I allow him to call in this program. And I asked him that question. Other people who don't have a quarry, who don't mind their own Arabica stuff, are making blocks and doing so successfully. Why you couldn't do that? Says the size of his operation would not have allowed for that. Because the size of his operation, it wouldn't be profitable. Nonsense. Poppy wash, I say.
That's what I'm saying. And he still had one upon these people because he had concession on the cement. These people don't have concession. They have to go by couriers or give to the whomever selling cement.
I want him to call back. I want us to have a conversation. I invite him to call back before this program is done.
Yeah, but
Good afternoon, you Shake Up. Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
If a thief man see you coming and he keep in your car, what will he do?
I believe he can run.
And if a liar want to tell a lie, will he run?
Not necessarily. Some of them bold face enough to tell it in front of your face.
Well, let me tell you something now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say but I went down by a place where they built black stone yam roughly years back, and I went there several times, right?
Mm-hmm.
To buy cement.
Yes.
And I went in a little office there. I don't know who the office comes from, I don't know, but they said the office was where Bigger Big office place.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw the place. I didn't buy from him, but I went in the office.
Mm-hmm.
They all have cement. Say yes. Give me so much and so much. Put in the car. I went back another month again. I bought. I have a little thing was doing to somebody. I went back. They told me they didn't have any.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I didn't know.
And you're willing to give your name?
I said, listen to me.
Uh-huh.
I asked him my question. When I doesn't like to deal with the liars.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
I have to deal with the thief.
Mm-hmm.
But I only tell you, Because I went there in the building, in the office, and a lady who was inside, they take my money, and I paid her, and she gave me the cement. I only say, I don't like to do that, and I'm done with that.
All right. Bigger Bigs, the line's open. As I said, this is the third person calling now and saying that they bought cement from you. You had Decent, who wasn't afraid to call his name, so he's a contractor. You had Jarvis, who also called and said that, they bought cement from you. So I don't know. Lines open. I know there's no call coming through right now. If you're still listening, my brother, I know the New Times program should be wrapping up all about now. So feel free to give me a call and tell me what these people are saying about you selling them cement is untrue. Feel free to give us a call here. We don't cut people off, and we don't, I know I can tell you we have to have a conversation, and I will have to have my say. But I don't cut you off as long as you don't disrespect or do anything else. So, and you've called the program several times, so you're welcome to call again. And these people is the third caller now saying that they bought cement. Well, two said directly from you. The gentleman said he didn't see you, but it's by your place in Yambu. So I welcome your call, my brother. Give us a call and let's continue the discussion. But I'll tell you, I'll still say what I said this morning at lunchtime to you. Good afternoon, Ian Shake Up.
Hey, hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hans,
yes.
why did it take so long to pull up Mr. Bigger Big Socks?
Why did I take so long?
To pull up Bigger Big Socks.
What do you mean?
But the man was telling like relations for so long.
But I
waited for somebody to do it.
Not as giving Bigger a chance, I was giving Bigger a chance. Sometimes you have to give man rope to hang themselves,
Why you ain't paying that, though? Sometimes you have to deal with them like
Yes.
Brian Lara and Vivian Richards 80 balls before.
Yes,
immediately.
yes. I like to have a little build up.
Anyway, I'm glad you do it anyway.
Yes. All right.
Just take a little too long.
Yes.
All right, then.
Okay, take it easy. You know what I mean? An elderly lady met me in church last week, Sunday, when I went to church, and she said she rechristened me. She said, I know your grandmother christened you Hans Mark King and your mother, but I rechristen you Hans Mark Job King. It's ironic, that all these people say that I like Job, I so patient that I be tolerated so much. Yet the other people who say I hot-headed and I have a bad temper and so on and so forth, But, I want to give Bigger a chance to talk and to be truthful. And that is what I was doing. So I give an opportunity to say a few things. And then I address the issues that I wanted to address with him. In the same way, I want him to call back again and let's address these issues of these people who are calling and say they bought cement from him. Let's get a conversation about this issue of you getting duty-free concession on cement and whether or not you were selling that same cement for other people rather than just using it only for your operation, which I think is the purpose for which you had gotten it to use for your block making operation. And again I ask, as I asked you before, how it is that other persons who are not mining their own Rabica stuff can competitively and profitably produce blocks, but you're saying that you could not have done so if you were not mining your own Rabica. And how can you honestly say to me that you left your trucks and your tractors to rot because you couldn't get work? Is it that the government is the only employer of people in that industry in St. Vincent? Is it that there are no NDP people building houses? Even if you want to say labor, people didn't want to give work, not government. Over the last 14 years, has no NDP person built a house in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that they would have hired your truck to do some trucking or hired your tractor? Has no business person who supports the NDP invested in St. Vincent and the Grenadines over the last 7 years? I think it is a known fact that the Graves family support the New Democratic Party. They have built a multi-million dollars between 11 and $14 million down at Bokuma. They've done other projects. There are other NDP people who have invested over the last 14 years under this government. Was there nobody to hire your truck or your tractors? Good afternoon, you shake up.
Hello, Hans.
Yes.
One quick one.
Yes.
So why didn't Bigger Biggs also liquidate some of his assets? Why didn't he, for example, sell some of the vehicles?
Let's take, for example, but we don't even have to go with vehicles. The Francis brothers, Franco Construction, you know that they have sold their asphalt plant?
Yes, they did.
To a Trinidadian company, and that is going to be sent out.
Yes,
What stopped Bigger Biggs if he's saying, well, boy, I can't mind no more, from selling his plant? Or selling the same truck or selling the same tractor that he said he left rotten because he couldn't get work? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
I think you'll have a hard time.
Bigger Biggs, I'm glad you called me here today. I'm glad you called me here today. And I want you call back. I want you call back, Bigger.
I hope that people lose at King and Marlon Mills and all.
They're listening, man. They just listen. Especially New Times done now. I know they're listening me. They're listening me, and they're going to go and cuss me out.
All right. The gospel according to hands. All right.
They listening me, and they're going to cuss me. Yes, they listening me, and they're going to cuss me. Yeah. Try asking still. What prevented you from doing any of these things, Bigger Biggs? What prevented you? What made you decide you going to leave trucks, tractors, and stuff like that to rot? Rather than sell them, rather than using them to do other jobs? What prevented you, like other block makers in this country, from buying aggregate and making your blocks? How it is other block makers can do that, but you can't? And I hear he say, Attorney General tell you, if you make any blocks, she go let she DPP. Where is that written, Bigger Biggs? Show us a document where that is written. Or play a recording. And even though, if you're saying she said that, how could you as a big educated businessman say that you stop make blocks because the Attorney General tell you so? That make any kind of sense? Really and truly. I mean, good afternoon, you shake up. You know the amount of nonsense that people pass off in this country is amazing, and try to make it sound like if it's sensible or common sense. Huh? That you have a document that tells you can't stop make blocks. You're saying based on the Attorney General telling you stop make your blocks. If you make any blocks, I can make me DPP lock you up. That you stop make blocks based on that. Bigger Biggs, what kind of nonsense, really? And for too long, we allow this kind of stupidity to permeate in our society. Huh? Allow this kind of stupidity to permeate in our society. How does that make sense? That the Attorney General go walk up to me and tell me, hey, now you can't do that, and if you do the thing, and what? Without showing me a document that says I can't do it? Really? And the amazing thing is educated people, because they say Lucette King is a lawyer. She is spreading that and saying that, yes, that is true. The Attorney General told him so, and I want her to sue me to say she didn't say so. And that is why he stopped making blocks. What are we going as a society really just trample that kind of stupidness and put an end to it? And when people speak that way, just basically say, listen, you're insulting my intelligence when you speak that way. And you're talking plain and simple nonsense. Huh? You leave your trucks to rotten down, your tractors to rotten down, your plant to rotten down. Anyways, Bigger is not calling back this afternoon, so you're invited anytime to call me, Bigger. Anytime I'm on this program, call me and let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Settle down, my brother. And if you can, get yourself together. You have your mining license back. What's preventing you? Get yourself together. Good afternoon, you shake up.
Good afternoon, Mr. King.
Yes.
They had that mining thing in Yambo.
He had his block making plant in Yambo as far as I know.
But he was grinding stone in the same place they were making blocks.
There you go. Well, I don't know. I listening to you saying that, but I know he was making blocks in Yambo.
He used to go there and he used to make blocks before up higher, but he was living up there too.
Yeah.
I don't see he could have made continue making blocks.
Of course.
I know people who are those buying rubber car and the stuff.
And make the blocks.
I used to buy blocks on them, and sometimes I go to the blocks on them green and I can't get blocks until the next day.
Yes.
People
Yes.
don't know how to block.
You know. All right, my brother.